Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Second Age Show, looking at all the latest rumors, leaks, discussions for the Rings of Power, and now it's season 3. So we did have our last episode, which went over some Jamie Campbell Bower news, and we had a previous episode from earlier in the year looking at some casting descriptions and leaks. But today, we're going more into the plot. And I think to join me today to discuss all this fun stuff, first we have Webcrawler. Hello there.
Hey Harry, how's it going?
Good man, you?
It's going great. I'm very excited to hear what these leaks are about.
Yep, and I think for change, I think both of you don't really remember the leaks, or Webcrawler you don't know, and Shiv has forgotten it. So you will see some proper reactions today, which is good. So hey, Shiv, how are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Excited. I'm excited. I think as filming's going on and on throughout the months, I think we're getting closer and closer to getting more sneak peeks, for example. So I think things are getting along nicely. And today's episode hopefully will continue that. So from the teasers, you can see that there's lots of focus on Sauron. There's lots of focus on the rings. And we have 3 leaks today, 3 scoops. We'll start off with the ring stuff, and then there's 2 more as well, which I think are very exciting. And I think the main thing here is with the show season 1, it was focused more on Sauron trying to hide his identity and then do things behind the scenes and in the form of Powerbrand. Then season 2, his aim was creating the Rings of Power in the form of Anatar. So now we're progressing into season 3, and what we want to share and what we've heard from our sources on set is that Sauron's main objective now and ambition going into season 3 is now focusing on distributing the rings and finding suitable ring bearers from different races. And we have already seen some of the future ring bearers that we'll see happen in the season already. So there's 2 things to unpack here. Firstly, that Sauron's, of course, we had the Sakara region. Now, a lot of the parts of this season for Sauron is going to be involving him not finding ring bearers, but that's his plan, that's his motive, to see who to distribute rings to. Of course, the whole dwarven dilemma. Durin's brothers coming back, the doors are gonna probably be engulfed around the discussion around the rings. And then also, of course, we have the ring wraiths that will eventually happen, the 9 mortal men doomed to die. And I think this season we're fully going to start potentially delving in to this stuff. And this is going to be Sauron's focus going into the 3rd season. So there's again 2 things to unpack. The other part we can unpack is who have we seen so far that there's going to be a future ring bearer. I've heard one which I think don't want to spoil too much, but I think it's going to be really, really exciting. So Shiv, initial thoughts and reactions.
Yeah, and maybe to get our bearings because it's been a while since season 2 dropped. Am I correct in remembering that technically the dwarves receive their rings?
I don't think they received them because at the end of season 2, Durin still has all the rings with him. So the dwarves received them as a group, but they haven't distributed them yet.
No.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm wondering, does that count as distributed right now, or is Sauron going to go back and influence who gets the rings? So I guess that's like one question. And then I think it's fair to say that the main focus is going to be on the human side of distribution. So I think we're going to start to see, well, if this is about distribution, we're going to start to see who will become Nazgul. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's some characters we know already, but
so we know a few of them are characters we know already. So again, just to go back to the scoop here, we already seen some of the future ring bearers already. So I think, who could this potentially be? Who could these people be? But Webcrawler, over to you. Initial thoughts and reactions.
Well, I mean, this is very good news because a lot of people in the Discord server have been theorizing definitely about the first part, but also about the second part to this leak. So, knowing that season 3 is going to be about focusing on the ring distribution, and that we might have seen some of the ring bearers already, I think that's very exciting for a lot of people to hear.
And I think, I think the direct question to both of you is literally going to be, who is getting corrupted into a ring wraith this season? Shiv, start it off with you.
Oof. I don't know if I can say this season, but I guess my hope, I think we've been saying this since the stream started, really. It'd be really tragic to see Theo turn into Nazgul. It's just because we have the I guess you can say the origin the origin story of Theo and how tragic it is losing his mother and potentially not knowing his father or losing him early on. All that build up to the final, or I guess season 2, where he's kind of left in Pelargir. I mean, he doesn't have much of parental guidance right now, if you will. So it would be a shame if Sauron were to slither his way into Pelargir or a neighboring area and corrupt him. So I would say he's probably top of my list. And then I definitely want to give Webcrawler some time, so I don't want to just steal all the thunder. But I'm assuming maybe some of the people from the blue, or not the blue wizard, but the dark wizard camp, maybe some of those masked men, they kind of give off Nazgul vibes already, so I could see one of them being corrupted. But yeah, those are my two theories, I guess, so far. How about you, Webcrawler?
Well, I have to disagree with it on Theo. I hope he doesn't become a Nazgul, because he's a pure innocent boy. He's not done anything wrong. But the other person that I think a lot of people have theorized about is Kemen, right? Since he was first introduced season 1, and then particularly in season 2, he seems to be going along that path where it would be very interesting to see him seduced by the power of the ring and become one of the 9.
And I think those two options are, generally speaking, the ones most people go for and make the most sense. So, of course, that being both Theo and Kemen. But I think one thing that, just for devil's advocate's sake, these showrunners, and in the past season 1, season 2, they do like surprises, they do like twists. Maybe one could make the argument, even though I think Theo is most likely, potentially, isn't it the obvious choice? Do you think if you had to choose someone, most people would go with Theo? So maybe they've got a different path for him, potentially. Shiv, have you thought about that? Potentially maybe it's like, I'm not sure if I'm using this correctly, a red herring, but it's not going to be someone we expect, and we thought it was going to be Theo. But then at the same time, I don't think we've been introduced to too many new human characters, I guess, would be the counterpoint to my counterpoint, I guess.
Oof. Now I'm wondering. I don't remember his name. There was kind of like the love triangle in Pelargir. Could it be
Hagen?
Hagen. I don't know if you're leading the witness, but he's a character that they kind of shone a little bit of light on this season. That would be kind of funny. His ultimate revenge is getting a ring and try to take my girl. I'm going to take your kingdom.
And I think another one, Webcrawler, let me know if you back me on this. But what about the person, what's his name from Numenor? The one that got into fight with Halbrand in season 1.
Kamar.
Oh.
Kamar. Do you think he's a potential one that could be more?
Ooh.
I would have been more likely to think that if we had seen him at some point in season 2.
Oh, do we not see him in season 2?
I don't recall seeing him in season 2.
Interesting.
Oh, that guy.
Okay, no, if we didn't see him in season 2, then yeah, maybe he's off the list. But then also with the 9, they were always more, I know, in the poem and everything, kings of men. So, and big, lords as well, and also one one of them was a sorcerer from Numenor as well. That's what's mentioned in the appendices. I don't think we've seen a sorcerer so far in Numenor, so maybe that's something. Because even though the scoops does say we have seen some so far, we'll probably most likely also see new ones. So maybe we'll see a sorcerer in Numenor because he was one of the 3 of the Ringwraiths that came from Numenor. So there's that. But going back to Theo quickly, what always reminds me is this conversation of Galadriel in season 1, where Galadriel is the light, and it's really weird that of all characters, Galadriel spent a lot of time in episode 7 with Theo, and the showrunners do say their stuff in early seasons that will pay off, and they're thinking 2, 3, 5 years down the line, seasons down the line. And if you remember this conversation, it was about, I think, I don't remember the exact quotes, but it's theoretically was Galadriel almost trying to bring Theo to the light and see that there's hope in the world and see, to do good was kind of the basis of, am I correct? I think that was the conversation they had under the wooden trunk.
And are you saying that, but first he must touch the darkness?
Yes. So now, going into season 3, will someone else have a conversation with him? And Theo's going to have listened to both Galadriel and Sauron, and then potentially the tragedy of that, of who he's going to try. He's first had to touch the darkness. So, I'm just saying, I think this conversation that they've had in season 1 will pay off at some point, potentially in season 3. And that's what I hope, at least, as well, because that would link really nice into these scoops. Again, that's not a leak, that's just my opinion on what I think would work best. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think there could be a whole, Theo spoke to both Galadriel, she gave him her, think of it almost like a pitch, stay to the light, trust me, stay to the light. Then you're gonna have now Sauron talking to him saying, you can have so much more power if you just corrupted. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts?
Oh,
I just don't go for it.
Oh, no, you go first. You go first.
Again, for me, Theo is a pure, good-hearted boy. He already touched the darkness. He had the sword hilt for the first half of season 1, right? And then he met Galadriel and he saw the light. Then he meets Isildur in season 2 and he helps him out. So I think he's going to stay a good boy. But I do like the idea of Hagen being sort of the counterpart to him in Pelargir, or Kemen, maybe Sauron shows up in Pelargir and we get to see that dichotomy play out. Two men characters being offered rings. One of them takes and one of them don't.
You know what? I'm sorry, I think that was a really good point, because I was about to mention how can I really doubt Sauron will go back to Numenor so how can Kemen be one of the men that gets corrupted this season? But then exactly as you mentioned, Pelargir, and he can go back there. And if Sauron does go there, because of course, if we're getting into the War of the Elves and Sauron, whereas the settlements across the River Guathalo, which Pelargir is on the coast, that's like the perfect place for him to to get corrupt. So there is a way that I know it sounds weird, but logistically it can work. And yeah, also as you mentioned, and for those watching who don't know who Hagen is, it's this character here. And yeah, I also think so I think we'll start to get 3 or 4 potential people who it could be to link to this to our first group of the day. I think Shiv, you did say you were going to mention something.
Oh, yeah. One theory I have bouncing around my head is I'm wondering if anyone that got stabbed by, I'm calling it a Morgul blade. I don't know what it really is. Like the key anyone that has that Sauron marking, I'm wondering if that could be something tied to Nazgul as well. Like, it'd be hilarious somehow Waldreg survived and was like revived and kind of kept alive, and he becomes one of the Nazgul. That's I'm willing to admit is a crazy theory, but would be cool if they did something like that. But yeah, I'm wondering if there's more meaning to that, like marking of getting stabbed by that blade. Like, was there any more meaning to that other than just Waldreg introducing Sauron to Theo? Yeah, so I'm wondering. That's my theory right now. Is there more to those markings, and could it be tied to Nazgul?
Interesting. And I think that would have been an even better point if Waldreg was still alive. But of course, in the prologue of season 2, he got. But yeah, I think the only way the sword became activated was because didn't it come from like the marking of blood on his wrist, and it went into this. Yeah, so maybe there is a link there. Very interesting. Webcrawler, any final thoughts on that or this leak before we move on?
No, that's a really cool theory. I mean, I'd also love to see zombie Waldreg. I think that could be fun.
No, that would be a thing. And I think because we've spoken a lot about the second part, I'll quickly just mention for the first part more clarity around the leak. So what we've heard is that Sauron, his focus is going to be now on the rings. Of course, the War of the Elves and Sauron's going to be happening as well. But the main focus, and in the season, we will see the whole plot around the ring wraiths. So I think that's going to be very exciting. Happy to confirm that. And yeah, I think please let us know. I know you're probably in the live chat discussing it already. But yeah, if you want to join our Discord, you can discuss this further, or our Twitter page, Instagram page. So we'll be discussing all this afterwards. And don't forget to hit the like button as well. And I think going into the next leak, Webcrawler, do you want to read it out? I'll have it on screen now.
Exclusive. Cirdan the Shipwright becomes a major character in the Rings of Power Season 3. Oh, that's a great one.
So, yeah, I think very exciting news we've heard. I know people worried about if Ben Daniels was going to come back, but with the whole War of the Elves and Sauron happening, we only got an introduction to Cirdan in Season 2, but he's going to have a much bigger part to play in Season 3, which is good news. Of course, you have Gil-galad, because if you think about it, Elrond is now going to be in Embladris, Rivendell area. Gil-galad, who's he going to really have in Linden to speak to? And when Sauron's forces will be pushing through Eriador, and you're going to have Elrond on one side holding up. So I think it makes sense. Who's Gil-galad going to fall onto now? I know fall on to have support him and give him guidance and wisdom. And I think that just kind of shows how naturally this makes sense. And the reason this is a leak, because you could pretty much say that, but not pretty much say about it, but like the reason why it is important and notable, because it is a notable difference to his involvement in Season 2. So yeah, that's more context to this one as well. And Shiv, thoughts?
Ooh, I guess I'll say this. There's a big hole with the death of Celebrimbor and the on-screen of Charles Edwards, right? Like, he was a pivotal character. I'm hoping with I guess you can call it the ally forces moving forward, having Cirdan being a main character and more involvement, I'm hoping he kind of becomes that space and takes over it. So being like the voice of wisdom and someone for the characters to lean on for advice and everything. I'm really hoping he kind of brings that, because like Charles Edwards did a great job of like juggling like the emotional range of his character basically. And I feel like Ben Daniels has that as well, where this character could show a lot. Like, there could be a wisdom to it. There could be some sadness with all the wars going on currently in his lands. And, we get to see the beautiful shots of the Grey Havens and where he was at. And yeah, having that juxtaposed with war. They could do a lot with that. So really excited for this leak. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there with it almost feels like, yeah, there's a hole that needs to be filled. And with, of course, with Celebrimbor gone, L1 being further away, I think, especially the Celebrimbor part. So, because he was one of the main center elves for the season, and having that big hole, I think, yeah, it's good that we have Gilgalad, Cirdan, and Elrond. Of course, I think Galadriel and Elrond are going to be on some separate mission for a lot of this, not a lot of the season, but like, seems like Galadriel's always going to be on her journeys around Middle Earth. So yeah, for more like the centered Elven characters within Elven kingdoms, I think is the best way to put it. Yeah, it makes sense to have Cirdan, yeah, have more of an involvement. But call it on to you.
Yeah, like I said earlier, this is fantastic news. I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear that we're going to get more of Cirdan. They really liked Ben Daniels' performance in the 2 episodes that he was in. Personally, for me, I like it because I think it actually helps out another character, Gilgalad. Gilgalad's been in the show for 2 seasons now, but we don't really know sort of his internal character. Like, he needs someone to bounce himself off of. And I think Cirdan could play that role where we get to start to see more of Gilgalad's internal thoughts about leadership, being, the Elven King, the responsibilities of looming darkness, all of that.
So yeah, as mentioned, yeah, I think that's a really good point around having Gilgalad be a focus because, sorry, not a focus, but he's not going to have much else around him. So yeah, I think a very exciting news around Cirdan, the shipwright, that we're going to see more involvement from him in season 3. And for the final scoop of today, I'm going to leave that over to Shiv. So do you want to take it away?
Sure. All right. Reading it here for the first time, exclusive. Jamie Campbell Bower has mainly shared scenes with Morfydd Clark so far. Suspicious.
Oh my God.
Very suspicious. What does that mean? I'm
so
not going to
many
say.
Thoughts. So many thoughts.
Well, since Webcrawler has so many thoughts, let's kick it over to you. What does this mean to you?
I mean, there's been rumored, theorized casting regarding who Jamie Campbell Bower has been playing. If you've been online on the Tolkien, the Trop fandom servers and whatnot, so yeah, this this kind of bodes well for those people. But also, it just kind of makes you think about what kind of role he's going to be playing if he's sharing most of his scenes with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm wondering too if they're already filming a lot of scenes together so far. I wonder if that could lead to, does he have a stronger, let's say, presence in the prologue stuff? Now, I'm not sure if they film chronologically. Like maybe
and
they
I think one more bit of context I'll add is this was given to us around the middle to end of August. So now I know we're 3 weeks in September. So that hasn't accounted for what he may be filmed over the last 3-4 weeks. But when filming started in May, so from whatever period he filmed from May to August, it was that's the scoop. So yeah, sorry, Shiv, back to you.
Yeah, so I wonder if that, like, if they film chronologically at least to some degree for the season, I wonder if that could mean that he has presence in the prologues. If I'm making the assumption that they're gonna have a prologue because they did it, 2 seasons in a row so far.
JD Patrick McKay confirmed an interview with our lovely colleague Varking on the Reddit that it's going to be the same opening for season 3, similar.
Awesome.
So flashback. So yeah,
awesome. Yeah, so there could be something there with Jamie Campbell Bower's character. Maybe we see his prologue and what his character accomplished. We've talked probably ad nauseum through all of our streams of who we think he could possibly be playing. Seems like a strong candidate for Celeborn. Other people are Camp Glorfindel and some other theories in between. So yeah, I'd be really excited if they show his character as a prologue. But if not, I'm excited to hear that he's working closely with Morphid. Kind of gives us a little bit of more insight into his character and what he could be playing.
Indeed. And before I pull something up on screen, Webcrawler, any further thoughts and discussions?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea about the prologue. I was wondering if there's possibly more than one flashback, if this is how they've gone about it so far.
Yeah, plus we do have the time jump as well. So I could see there being like a prologue of a character and then having some kind of montage, I guess, of what happened in between season 2 and season 3. So it could be cool if there's some more story carried through that if they go with a montage route.
And maybe it's like it could potentially be multiple flashbacks if it's like that. Maybe we have some at the start of season 3, but maybe it's like a memories in Galadriel's head or something where it continues throughout the season. And it could be like a personal struggle for her, the character, not struggle, but like for her, the development of her character. I know there's always a debate around the development of Galadriel's character and how that should be, whether it should be around Celeborn or centered around him, or it should be with her own things and what she's trying to, develop and become, the Galadriel we see in the Third Age. So the way she comes about that is, the discussion. So yeah, I just have these images side by side for no reason.
I have a spicy theory.
Go for it.
What if it's related to her connection with Nenya? Right, season 2, Nenya has been showing her visions, and maybe season 3, it's showing her like past.
Or potentially. I know this doesn't really link to the scoop we have here, but because it's about showing scenes, but maybe she's getting visions of where maybe Celeborn is currently, or maybe if he's captured or whatever. So maybe that can build on top of that.
Very exciting news. Very exciting news regardless.
Definitely. And so that's the final scoop today, that Jamie Campbell Bower has shared scenes with Morphid Clarks as of end of August. So I think to recap today's pieces of news, Sauron's main objective and ambition going into season 3 is now focusing on distributing the rings of power and not just distributing, but finding suitable ring bearers for them. And I think this will be more focused on the men, the humans, and we've already seen some of the future ring bearers. I think that's very exciting. We now have also learned today that Cirdan's going to have a much heightened involvement in season 3 compared to season 2, and he's become more of a key player. And also one thing that I didn't mention, which could be a funny point, is maybe at the end of season 3, we'll see an interaction between Cirdan and Gandalf, maybe, who knows. And then the final scoop today, which I'm sure will be one that'll be talked about a lot as well. Jamie Campbell Bower has mainly shared scenes with Morphid Clark so far as of the end of August. And I think that's been quite a jam-packed, fun episode. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. This is so much fun, having to build up the excitement to discuss this with you guys in between seasons. Of course, Rings of Power also giving out sneak peeks, which is a lot of fun as well. So I think we're not going to change anything we're doing. We're going to carry on having fun in between the seasons. So thank you, Shiv, for joining me today as well.
Thanks for having me, and special shout out to the Amazon promotion team for releasing those sneak peeks of each character and what they released so far. It's us as fans were hungry for new content in these slower times, so definitely huge thanks for them for that.
Yeah, indeed. That's gonna be it. Very exciting. And Webcrawler, thank you for today as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's always fun to be here, and can't wait for the fans to find these out and have those discussions with them and see what they think.
Yep, and based off that, if you want to join our Discord, there'll be a link in the live chat to make sure to do that. And Shiv, make sure to like and subscribe as well. Look, he's already on it. And yeah, we'll see you back in October for the next episode of the Second Age Show. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next ones. Goodbye.